Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. John Matthew from the Student Counseling Center.
And I'm Megg Spirito.
And today we're going to be talking about having a conversation with somebody that you're concerned about. And this is based off our previous presentation on suicide prevention and tips and signs. And because we're still continuing with our suicide prevention month. So kind of a repeat of what we talked about in our last video is just, again, review of the signs that somebody, a close friend or an individual might be having. So you can always go back to our other video and see more about that, but just some key things to hit on, is talking about feelings of hopelessness or having no purpose, talking about being a burden to others, seeing increase in alcohol or other drugs. Those are some things to watch out for along with the others. And again, you can present back to our other video too as well.
Oftentimes, the most difficult part about having a conversation is just knowing where to start. So the best way to open the door to a conversation about suicide is just to do it. So that could be by inviting the friend to spend some time together, opening up about something that's going on in your life to, help make them feel more comfortable, or just even sending a message to check in. Hey, how are you doing?
So with that, and like Meg said, there's no right way to start that conversation. It's just kind of getting into it. But we have some conversation starters that, can be some tips to kind of help ease that. And it can be something as simple as saying, hey, seems like something's up with you. Want to go for a walk and let's talk. Or even stating, I know you're going through some stuff. I'm here for you, and opening that up. If they want to talk more about something, that they can. Or being, a little more straightforward, saying, sorry, this is awkward, but I just want to make sure you're all right, and that's really showing that you're caring about your friend or a loved one.
So next, what do you do during the conversation? And I think it's important to, first of all, let them know that whatever they're feeling is okay. And it's not scary to you, and making yourself available, even if just to listen to that person. You don't really want to offer advice or try to fix things for them, but a really good way to get them talking is to ask open-ended questions. And then you can also suggest that they talk to a professional as well. And I think this next one's pretty important, that you try not to make any promises, such as, I'm not going to tell anybody, don't worry, because you don't want to violate their trust, but sometimes you might have to tell somebody. So just not making that promise in the first place, I think is probably the safest bet. And then also, you don't want to force it. They need to know that you're there for them, and that has to be on their time. And then for you too, like, it's okay to ask for help. Even if that means your friend is going to get mad at you, ultimately their safety is a priority. It's number one. And sometimes, honestly, just being there for them is enough. You don't always have to know what to say, but just letting them know that you're there regardless. And then, as always, keep checking in. Don't just have the one conversation and move on from it or forget about it, but continue to make sure that they're okay and let them know that your door is always open for them to come to talk to you.
So, after starting that conversation and having the conversation, what are these next steps? So, it's really that attempt to be able to, keep this conversation going, right? And a lot of times we have to recognize that our first attempt may not be successful, might not get the results that, we're thinking, and things might still be the same. But that's when it's continuing to reach out, showing this individual that you're there and that you care and that you want to make sure that they are okay. Also, a very key point is to know that you are not a professional, right? And this comes to the part where, talking to somebody about, these feelings, or, if they're suicidal or if there's a crisis in their life, be sure to take care of yourself. and not take on more than you can handle. Because a lot of that can come back onto you, and it can bring you down. It can make you feel stressed out, anxious, and that's a part where, you have to make sure you're okay too. And that can be the part where if you're going through something like this with a friend, where you can come talk to, someone to the counseling center about, what you're going through, and making sure you're taking care of yourself. And always, you can always ask a trusted friend, family member, or staff for advice or support. Someone that you're close to and you care about, and just kind of getting that opinion. And that's the same thing with coming to the counseling center, is that, you know, we can talk about those types of things, and same with student support. And that kind of brings us to our next slide, is the resources that you can use. So the first one that I want to mention is the JED Foundation, and that is where a lot of our um, slideshow has come from. It's a great foundation for suicide awareness, suicide prevention. We have the link right there, seizetheawkward.org. Check it out. It has a lot of other tips, tricks, and just, other resources that you might want to check out. And also the other ones that are off campus would be the community Center for Community Resources and the National Suicide Lifeline hotline. But also on campus, of course, you have the Student Counseling Center, where you can come and talk to us, send a friend to come talk to us. And again, we're taking phone calls and emails is the quickest and the best way to get with us. And don't forget that you can always do a student care report. And student support's numbers right there. We work very close with them, so we get kept in the loop. And if there is a dire emergency, campus police number is there, but 911, you always need to remember, if it is to that point of seriousness where something is going to happen to somebody, that's who you would need to call for that. So we'd like to thank you for your time. And again, if there's any questions, reach out to us. And I hope you enjoyed it.